Good morning, everyone. If we can all take our seats, we will be starting very shortly. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. If you can grab a seat, we're going to get started. How is everyone this morning? That was not enthusiastic. You need more coffee. How is everyone this morning? Yay! Good, good. Glad to hear it. Welcome to the MetroWest Boston Visitors Bureau annual meeting. We are so happy that you are here this morning. We are going to focus today on growth, innovation, and partnerships in the tourism industry. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us. I am Stacy David. I am the Executive Director of the Visitors Bureau. We have a packed lineup of speakers. I'm very excited to share their knowledge and their updates with you. I look forward to giving you some insights into what has been happening with the Visitors Bureau in the last year. But first, I would like to invite up Dr. Nancy Nemi, the president of Framingham State University, who are our gracious hosts for this event. Nancy Nemi's commitment to social equity through education is evidenced in her work with universities across the country and in her research throughout her career. She proudly serves as the president of Framingham State University, and her experience in education includes positions as provost and vice president for academic affairs of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, inaugural director of faculty teaching initiatives at Yale University, professor and chair of education at the University of New Haven, and as an elected public school board member. Nancy works with her team at Framingham State, which has responded to public need for the good of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for 183 years, to develop the strongest educational opportunities for students and their families who form the new majority of America. Through community connections, business partnerships, and powerful programs, Nancy and her team are fierce developers of impactful education in MetroWest and across New England. And she would like to take a moment to welcome you here this morning and tell you a little bit about some of her initiatives.
Thank you, Stacy. We've been joking all week. I think many of us in this room have just traveled in a pack, going to various community events, which is wonderful. Having been here now for about a year and a half, it's really, really wonderful to recognize faces and begin to not have to say, okay, I know you, what was your name, who are you with? It's really, it's what we're supposed to be doing when we're part of community members. So I can tell you very sincerely, welcome to our home here at Framingham State University. And it's really important that we call it home because, yes, I know I'm talking to the MetroWest Boston Visitors Bureau, and our job is to get people as visitors here, but you can't visit someplace, I think, if you don't have a home. And so it's our job to create the most wonderful home possible in our region so that people can see the vibrancy and the beauty and the depth of resources that we have here in the place that we call home. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to be anyplace else. We are committed, I think many, if not all of us in this room are part of organizations that are anchors, that are regional anchors. And I think that's an important concept because unlike businesses, well, anybody can move. You can pick up a business and move. You can pick up a school and move. I would not be so arrogant as to think that no school can close. You read the newspaper, you know that they can. But for the most part, the YMCA, a school, a hospital, a place that's a museum, an arts organization, any of those things, we really are rooted in community, and it's our job to make our community as vibrant a home as possible. So we serve as cultural and regional anchors, anchor institutions, or as another organization called us, stewards of place. And I like thinking about that. It really helps me ground about what I'm supposed to be doing as part of our organization. And as you heard Stacy say, we are committed to being a part of the public good. That's why we were born, and now it's 185 years, closing it on 200. We are in case you don't know, we're the oldest in the country, the oldest normal school, which means a model school for teachers. The oldest one is right here. You're sitting in it. I know, isn't that great? And it's our responsibility to serve our community. That is why we are born, and that's why we need to thrive. We know we're an economic contributor through our place as a regional anchor, and we need to be reliable and committed to that. We're also, and want to be even more so, a player in workforce development. And people in education make a false distinction that schools that are higher on the elitism ladder, they train people whose head are in the clouds, and they have majors that don't maybe connect with workforce as though somehow it's a dirty word. Nothing could be further from the truth. You have to have a body of knowledge and skills to do anything with, and you then take that and do something with it, wherever it is. And so all universities and colleges create students, no matter who you are. We create students who then become people in this case, our region, who then turn around and help our community thrive through inclusive communities, through major workforce development, and then they in turn create lives that then we can all celebrate and be even more powerful. So we are a major workforce development anchor, and we know that we have a lot of work that we've done and want to do even more in helping to create a thriving economy. So we want to make sure that we have excellent internships, that we have excellent resources and partnerships together, and that we continue to be a place that connects with all of you. What do you need? How can we help? Whether it's through something like this, whether it's creating our students who then go out and have skills, whether our faculty can be resources for you or our staff members. There are myriad ways because universities and colleges are microcosms of our community. So we will continue to be major players in workforce and economy. And specifically, within the next 5 years, as Stacy said, we've got an incredible team, and then we have to look 5 years behind, 5 years in the future. So we've been talking a lot. We've done strategic planning. We're on the cusp of renewing our regional accreditation, which is actually our game plan for the next 10 years. So we anticipate that within time, we would like to have every undergraduate have a paid internship or work experience, because that's the key to making sure they know where they're going, and can then be excellent workers, because everybody's not so sure where they want to go, how they can do that. So that's one of the major keys, and we're working on that. We want to be, Framingham State wants to be a single source resource for our region. What do you need? How can you get it? Call on us. We want to have a single point of contact if you don't know where to go, because universities are weird. And they've got lots of entry points and they're confusing. Having a single point where we can call it up and say, hey, this is what we need, how can you help us? We want to be that for our community. We also have some specific programmatic and degree development that we're working on. We're looking seriously at AI, at artificial intelligence. We already have and want more robust pre-health professions. There are all kinds of ways that we can develop healthcare workers, that we are developing them. How do we create nurses, physicians, physical therapists, occupational therapists? We can give the grounding to send those students to the places where they can get those degrees to help our workforce. Heritage language development. We have one of the most rich immigrant populations and people from out of the country living here in Framingham and in MetroWest. How can we make sure that we serve them through the languages? We have a museum and art school that is dedicated, and the McAuliffe Center. We have centers, we've got the John Stalker Institute, JSI. All of those centers connect to the wider world. We need to make sure that you know about them and we serve you as well. So those are some of the things that we're working on, that we're keeping an eye on for the foreseeable future. And we need you. We need to be your partners. We want to be your partners. And we couldn't be more thrilled that you're here today and that you're part of our home. So on behalf of all of us here, thank you for being here. And I hope we have a wonderful conversation this morning.
Thank you so much. And a little side note on the internship conversation, we've started a conversation on how the Visitors Bureau can help sort of be a conduit for workforce development. So helping connect tourism and hospitality companies in our region with interns that need jobs and need that experience, because I think that we're sort of at the center point of some of that we can connect. So we're starting some of those conversations as well. I would like to welcome next Senate President Karen Spilka. Through hard work, a keen ability to navigate complex issues, and a demonstrated commitment to advocating for her constituents, Senate President Karen E. Spilka has established herself as a respected leader atop state government. Representing the MetroWest communities of the 2nd, Middlesex, and Norfolk District, comprised of Ashland, Framingham, Holliston, Hopkinton, Medway, and Natick, all of which are in our region, Senate President Spilka is dedicated to the advancement of progressive social causes and a pragmatic fiscal policy of balancing investments in education, infrastructure, and economic opportunity with saving for the future. She has championed issues such as mental health, juvenile justice, and services for the elderly and disabled communities. During her career, Senate President Spilka has been a social worker, small business owner, and attorney, and was one of the first legislators in the nation to vote in favor of marriage equality and transgender protections. Most recently, Senate President Spilka has led a number of efforts to decrease the barriers to accessing quality mental health care, including directing state funding towards public awareness of mental and behavioral health, as well as to increasing the mental health workforce pipeline. More than a dozen years ago, as chair of the legislator's Joint Committee on Economic Development, Senator Spilka led the effort for sweeping changes in the Commonwealth approaches to economic development, including reconfiguration of regional tourism councils. This established the MetroWest Visitors Bureau as a vehicle to finally bring a significant portion of the state's marketing dollars back to MetroWest to be used to promote the assets of our region. Senate President Spilka is a graduate of Northeastern Law School and holds a BS in social work from Cornell University. She and her husband Joel raised their children in Ashland, where they have lived for 40 years. Please welcome Senate President Spilka.
Good morning. Boy, 40 years. Time flies. It's hard to believe. Well, it's great to be here at the McCarthy Center and among so many leaders and champions of MetroWest. Thank you all for coming to support the MetroWest Visitors Bureau. I'd like to just recognize a few people. Nancy Nemi for hosting us today and for being such a terrific advocate for Framingham State. I believe it's a jewel in the state university system. And I'd like to recognize Dave Podell here from Mass Bay, Representatives Jeff Roy, Megan Kilcoyne, Jack Lewis, Dave Linsky, and I think James Arena DeRosa might be here as well. Michael Bobbitt from the Cultural Center, welcome. Welcome, it's always great to have you here. Kate Fox of the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism. And certainly the MetroWest Visitors Bureau Board of Directors, led by their very able chair, Steve Levinsky, and all of you here as well. I'd like to extend a warm welcome and congratulations to your newly appointed Executive Director, Stacy David, and for all that you're doing in helping to promote MetroWest travel and tourism, because it's really important, and it's great that we can capture some of those dollars, state dollars and hotel fees, and bring them back to the MetroWest area, which we were unable to do before this office, the Travel and Tourism, was created. So when my husband and I, as noted, planned on having a family, we looked far and wide. We searched for a place where our kids would have access to great schools. We'd be somewhat close to Boston. Both of us worked in Boston. He was going to school in Boston. We'd be able to enjoy the outdoors, bike, kayak, and spend time doing the things we loved. We found Ashland and the MetroWest region, and we fell in love. And I have to say, 40 years later, we're still in love. And it's grown a lot, and it's changed, but it's still a wonderful place to live, work, raise a family, and play. We love and take pride in MetroWest, that it's grown in the decades that we're here. We raised a family, participated in our communities, and the reason that that drew my husband and myself, like so many people who wake up every single day and work to make this region a place where people want to spend time, energy, and money. That's important to help grow our businesses and everything else. And to make memories that will last a lifetime. That's also a part of raising a family and living in a community. As Senate President, I'm very proud to have worked with my colleagues to marshal the state's resources to make investments that will help this region continue to grow. So as we have gathered here this morning, I want to offer my gratitude to all of you for this partnership and offer somewhat of an update on what the Senate and legislature is doing to make this region and the entire Commonwealth more affordable, competitive, and equitable. I hope all of you are aware that the legislature recently passed the most significant tax relief package in over a generation, with the goal of providing financial relief to families across the Commonwealth while making Massachusetts more competitive with other states. We need to make sure that we bring in businesses, bring in people, visitors, and create more travel and tourism. There was strong consensus in the Senate, and then we worked with our House colleagues to target diverse populations for tax relief and to make concerted effort to help low and middle income families. So we were laser focused on affordability, competitiveness, and equity, and supporting and expanding our middle class here in Massachusetts. Recent data shows that the largest group of people leaving Massachusetts, and I know many of you have heard it's the older folks who are leaving because of the millionaire's tax. Well, I would strongly dispute that. The largest group of people leaving Massachusetts are young people, including the 26 to 35-year-olds who can't afford the child care. Do you know that the average cost of child care for an infant is $21,000 in Massachusetts? That's like sending a kid to college, private, it's amazing. They can't afford the other essentials, the housing, and they can't see themselves being able to have a life here. That's why the tax relief bill contained provisions for expanded housing, affordability, and production for both homeowners and for renters, and concrete ways to help families, including the Child Independent Tax Credit, which is now the largest child independent tax credit in the country, and the Earned Income Tax Credit, sometimes called the EITC. I'm proud that the final package will have long-term positive effects for our residents and our business owners at every single income level, and I'm excited to carry out the vision of competitiveness into our continued work this session. Focusing on competitiveness and our strengths as a Commonwealth, it's becoming more and more urgent as we face a slight economic slowdown. I'm sure all of you have heard this, but there is still growth happening, but it's slower. It's really important that we be careful stewards of the taxpayers' money, and we have the responsibility that we've taken that very seriously. During the pandemic, when revenues were higher than expected, we made sure that we put some aside for the rainy day fund. That's been always a priority of mine. When I became chair of Ways and Means in 2015, actually, our rainy day fund was, I don't even know if it was $1 billion at that point in time. Working with our partners in the House and administration, we will seek to keep the disruption of programs and services that benefit our residents and businesses to a minimum. And that's why, as well, we want to take advantage of our rainy day fund. And we passed a bill, and it's in conference committee now, to make the state eligible using up to $17.5 billion through a historic once-in-a-generation federal funding opportunities with the Biden administration. So we're looking to use the interest from the rainy day fund to capture as much of that $17.5 billion to go to our state, our local communities, our whole entire Commonwealth. As tourists and visitors come to our state and our region, I'm proud that we have invested heavily to make sure that we provide safe, reliable infrastructure that they can use, whether they take a bus, a car, or walk on the sidewalk, or use public transit. In July, we passed a bill that included $375 million in bond authorizations across the state. That money is a reliable funding source to fixing bridges, paving roads, bus infrastructure, and train infrastructure. We have focused on physical infrastructure of our communities, and we have also emphasized shoring up the social and emotional health infrastructure of our communities. That, in the long run, I think all of you know, is really just as important, particularly our young people. Year after year, we have successfully prioritized funding for social and emotional learning grants to help our K-12 schools bolster social and emotional learning supports for students, including money to provide mental health screenings for K-12 students. That was especially important after the return from after COVID, although some would argue that COVID is still with us, so be cautious. But we wanted to better assess the social and emotional status of our kids. We've invested heavily in family resource centers. Framingham has a terrific one to grow and improve mental health resources and programming available to all families throughout the Commonwealth. Now we are firmly in our second year of our legislative session, so I will tell you a little bit about the Senate. I believe we are doubling down on our efforts to make the state more affordable, competitive, and equitable. That is a theme that you will hear over and over again because it's really important. Affordable, competitive, and equitable. At the start of this session, I laid out a vision for a comprehensive student opportunity plan, which builds on the success of our landmark K-12 Student Opportunity Act. And I believe that we need more than just a K-12 student plan, Student Opportunity Act, that we need to expand education options for all of our residents, from our youngest learners to those who have worked hard to get into college, to create a student opportunity plan. I'm proud that our fiscal '24 budget brought many aspects of that plan to life, including free community college for students 25 and older, and to students who are aspiring nurses. We have a nursing shortage that this has really helped pull more students, and I think Mass Bay enrollment has started, and other community colleges enrollment has started increasing, and that's really exciting. And we put money in the budget to work towards fall of 2024 to have all community college free for residents. And so we will continue to work on free community college, shoring up and increasing our grants and support for our state university students, in scholarships and funding for those mass grants, or the grants that really help. Once a student is in state university or the UMass system, there's so many reasons why it's hard to stay in school. So these grants will enable these students to actually stay in school and graduate. Our '23 budget included a truly historic $1.5 billion investment in early education and care, the other end of the spectrum, the closer to the beginning of education. And I'm very proud to say that just yesterday, the Senate debated and passed our Early Ed Act. Yeah. It's a great bill, and it will make high-quality early education and care more accessible, affordable, and sustainable. The Early Ed Act would fund our child care providers, give our early educators the salaries and compensation that they deserve and need to raise their own families. It would help working families by opening up more child care slots statewide and provide more kids and more families to help prevent tuition increases to the families. It would allow parents who want to go back to work. We have a workforce gap you've all heard of that would enable more parents to go back to work. So I'm really proud of our ongoing commitment to reform our early education and care system, and I am hoping that it will be signed into law this session. Another key priority that we hope see signed into law is our prescription drug cost reform. Unfortunately, I still go to senior centers or senior health care facilities and hear from our seniors that they can't afford their prescription drugs, and some of them are still breaking their drugs in half or taking them every other day. That blows me away that here we are in Massachusetts, one of the wealthiest states, wealthiest countries in the world, and our seniors are still doing that. So I think we need to change that. I believe we'd all agree it's unacceptable, and we have to look at equity and fairness for all of our residents. And I do want to mention that we will be working on housing. Everywhere I go, it's housing. Actually, housing and childcare right now seem to be the biggest issues in trying to keep that younger age group here in Massachusetts as well. I know the governor filed a major housing bond bill. It's in the House right now, I think, so they'll be looking at it, taking it up. We'll be taking it up, and I hope to get something on her desk before the end of this session. We will be looking also at the high cost of public transportation. We've invested a lot, not only in the T, which you hear of because of all of the problems that we all know, but we've invested a lot in our RTAs, and our MetroWest RTA and the other RTAs have grown, and to see them grow and interconnect the fabric of now 15 communities' lives on so many different levels is amazing. I'd like to sort of mention and almost close by saying that the House and Senate did a both very strong gun safety legislation. That is in conference committee now. I'm very proud that Massachusetts has among the strongest gun safety laws in our country. We have, and I have to knock on wood, among the lowest deaths caused by gun safety. This will make it even stronger. I will believe help us to continue to be a national leader, and looking forward to getting that to the governor. Our region is keeping Massachusetts and our region strong, regardless of the challenges that come our way. You all know requires creativity, flexibility, and partnership more than ever before. It also requires diligence, and we must continually strive to distinguish our region from the greater Boston region and other regions, and fight for the resources, dollars, and recognition that MetroWest is truly a unique and very special place, as I said, to live, work, raise a family, and play. So I know, and I'm really glad that all of you will always be willing to collaborate and work towards our shared goals, and it's wonderful to see all of you here today doing just that. Thank you so much for your hard work and your continued partnership.
Thank you so much. Senate President, I think you grabbed my intros too. Sorry. It's totally fine. I hadn't memorized all this. She was expecting me to memorize everybody's intros. I'm not quite that good. So I'd like to welcome up Representative Jeff Roy. State Representative Jeffrey N. Roy was first elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives for the 10th Norfolk District in 2012. It is his great honor and privilege to represent the residents of Franklin and Medway on Beacon Hill. He was appointed chairperson of the Joint Committee on Telecommunications, Utilities, and Energy. He is the House Chair of the Manufacturing Caucus, which promotes and encourages making it in Massachusetts. He has worked as an attorney in Massachusetts since 1986 and operates a law firm, Roy Law, in Franklin. The firm is dedicated to vindicating the rights and expectations of consumers injured at work, home, or play. He has represented clients at all levels of the trial and appellate courts in Mass. He is a member of the American Association for Justice and the Massachusetts Bar Association. He is also a bicycle rider on the annual Pan Mass Challenge event, which raises money for the Jimmy Fund, and he is a very good friend of mine. So welcome.
It's always nice to be introduced by a constituent as well as a good friend. So, and you didn't mention anything about my band. Usually that's a part of the biography, and we're here in an arts, culture, and tourism thing, and you forget Ben Gardner's boat. That's okay. Next CD you're going to have to pay for. And I'm so grateful for all my colleagues being here, except for Jack Lewis, who said he hopes I break a leg, not appreciating that I just got off crutches a couple of days ago. So probably not the best thing to say. But and my dear friend from Franklin, Councilor Melanie Hamlin from the Franklin Town Council, good to see you here as well. And of course, Michael Bobbitt, what a treat. You excite us all about arts, culture, and tourism, so I'm dying to hear from you later on today. But it's great to be here with you and all of my colleagues in the House and the Senate. And a couple of weeks ago, I was actually asked by a reporter who was doing a story on government support for the arts. Must have seen all of the earmarks that myself and my colleagues put in for these great things in their communities. And her question was, do you really think that government has a role in supporting the arts? And I tell you, I spoke with her for about 90 minutes because I truly believe government has an outstanding role in the arts. And the funny thing is, she never wrote the story. I think she had a different angle and could not believe that government actually had a role. But I'm going to share you the quote that never made it into the paper. And I said to her, the arts help us better understand and interpret the world around us, improve our ability to think critically and act creatively, and offer the opportunity to communicate. And the arts provide a way of thinking and a way to be engaged because they are about vision and having the ability to see. In our schools, arts education improves student achievement, well-being, and school climate. And finally, perhaps most importantly, culture plays a central role in helping our citizens discover timeless truths about themselves and the world we share. Why on earth wouldn't you put that quote in the paper? And Steve Jobs of Apple Computer often spoke about the intersection of technology and the arts. And towards the end of Walter Isaacson's great biography of Steve Jobs, he's quoted as observing, "The reason Apple resonates with people is that there's a deep current of humanity in our innovation. I think great artists and great engineers are similar in that they both have the desire to express themselves. In fact, some of the best people working on the original Mac were poets and musicians on the side. In the 70s, computers became a way for people to express their creativity. And great artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo were also great at science. Michelangelo knew a lot about how to quarry stone, not just how to be a sculptor. And indeed, the intersection of arts and technology is of great significance to our progress as local communities, as a state, and as a nation. And I know from my perspective, when I turn on the news and listen to the news, and I'm listening to it a lot less these days, I find that arts and culture and music in particular can really make that dreary day turn right around. So let's talk about what government is. Government is about improving lives, so given that how well the arts do in that regard, it's quite fitting for the state to play a part. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a musician, and I speak passionately about the importance of the arts. And I'll tell you, the story is, as a second grade student, my mother bought me a cello and said, you should learn this instrument. And I got to tell you, playing the cello for 10 years during the formative years of your life doesn't get you very far. But once I picked up that guitar, my life changed. So, we know, as Senator Spilker had said, the arts, they create jobs, they stimulate commercial traffic, all which leverage neighborhood revitalization, they attract diverse populations, and they strengthen communities. And we need to capitalize on these efforts of creative placemaking, which requires strong public sector report. I'll go through a list of the top 10s about arts and culture. Arts unify communities. Arts improve individual well-being. Arts strengthen the economy. Arts drive tourism and revenue to local businesses. Arts improve academic performance. Arts spark creativity and innovation. I could never get away with this in the Midwest, talking about the arts. But arts have social impact. Arts improve health care. Arts strengthen mental health. And according to the Massachusetts Cultural Council, which I'm sure Michael will cover when he gets up here, the economic impact of the travel and tourism industry in Massachusetts is significant. It accounted for $27.2 billion in spending from 21 million domestic and international travelers, representing 4.2% of the gross domestic product, generating $1.9 billion in taxes for municipalities and the state, and supporting 135,181 jobs. That's a great tribute to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And the legislature has given great support and offered support for arts and culture over the years, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when we formed a COVID-19 Cultural Impact Commission, which kept many of our organizations alive and well in a time when we really needed the support of arts and culture in our communities. The commission used $60 million in one-time ARPA funds to help the sector, and that resulted in more programming. Mass Cultural Councils got $44 million in FY24 across all funding sources. That's the highest level in decades. The Mass Office of Travel and Tourism receives funding from the legislature in FY24. That was $869,019 funding benefits for tourism, arts, and culture across the Commonwealth. And Mass Development and the Mass Cultural Council, two state agencies that jointly administer the Cultural Facilities Fund, announced 28 newly approved grants investing a total of $3,139,000 into cultural facilities and projects throughout the Commonwealth. And as of October 2023, the state had awarded close to $2 million to 45 cultural and tourism projects across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And for FY24, more than $8.1 million will be distributed among the regional tourism councils to support their advertising, administrative, and marketing efforts. In my community of Franklin, that district received a $15,000 grant from the center. One of the things that they will be doing, among the many things they do in the community, and this is a plug if you want to see some good music, Porch Fest in Franklin will take place on Saturday, June 1. I know it conflicts with the Democratic State Committee Convention, but I will be out on the porch at 164 Main Street at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And I want to talk about one particular earmark that I pushed, which is like many others that folks in the room here have done, and it was a $150,000 earmark for the Franklin Performing Arts Company. And Franklin Performing Arts runs the Black Box Theater, which has had a transformative impact on Franklin's downtown. It's been thrilling audiences in Franklin since its grand opening of September of 2014, and has really contributed to a thriving arts and culture scene in our community. And I've had occasion to attend several of events and witness firsthand the economic impact of them. I'm actually going to see Tarzan this evening. Anybody is not busy for this weekend, Tarzan is playing with the original Broadway star, Josh Strickland, who opened the show on Broadway in New York City, is actually coming to Franklin, Massachusetts to star in Tarzan. So, that theater during COVID was one of the only venues that was remaining open for artists to perform and do their craft. And folks came from all over to perform there, and you couldn't perform inside, so the theater devised a stage outside underneath a tent with plenty of ventilation. It was incredible to see. It was incredibly needed, and it was so well received in our community, and I'm thrilled that we're able to support groups like that because we need them. The Commonwealth thrives as a result of them, and I appreciate the fact that everyone in this room has a particular place, venue, or story about how arts and culture helped you, and the government is not going to take a back seat. We are going to be right there at the forefront to help you thrive and entertain in this world. So thank you very much. Thank you for my colleagues for being such great supports. And Stacy, you're an amazing community organizer and executive director, so congratulations and thank you for having me here.
Appreciate it. Always good to see you. Jeff, now you stole my intros. I tell you, can't trust these people. Thank you very much, Jeff. Always good to see you. So now it's my turn. I am delighted you're here. I have a lot to share with you today, so I'm begging your indulgence and your patience. Thank you first to FSU for being such gracious hosts. We always appreciate being here and that partnership. Thank you also to our legislators, our members, our board, and the other organizations from the region who have joined us this morning. Most especially, thank you to our amazing and wonderful sponsors who helped make today possible. The Framingham Collection, which if you have not been over there yet, you should go. They are in the middle of a renovation, but they have finished 2 phases of it, and it is an amazing tri-brand property now. Distinctive Hospitality Group, Local IQ, Universal Wild, CTM Media Group, and our good friends at Yankee Magazine. And finally, thank you to my amazing staff, who are all new this year, so I'd like to take a moment to introduce them. So Carrie Frazier, Carrie, is our marketing manager. You can... Robin Kenny is our new membership and development manager. So she is your contact for any membership, sponsorship, or co-op advertising needs. And Karen Walsh, Karen, where are you? Karen's at the back. Karen is our brand new office manager and bookkeeper, and I am thrilled to have all of them here. The Visitors Bureau is, in essence, a marketing agency for you, designed as an economic development driver to increase your revenue by driving new money into the region. The region has 19 towns, and my vision is for an organization that helps tourism and hospitality businesses stretch their advertising dollars through our own marketing efforts and providing low-cost solutions to meet your needs, such as co-op advertising, where businesses can cost share on ads they couldn't otherwise afford, or through our mini grant program that supports your own campaigns. We want to make everyone successful through helping to facilitate collaborations and partnerships, and by creating campaigns that highlight as many organizations as possible to drive home the message that there are a ton of great things to see and do in MetroWest. I'd like to give you a little recap of what we did in our impact in FY23, as well as some of our campaigns and projects that we're working on in FY24. You'll find our new visitor's guide on the left-hand side of your folder. We are very happy with it. We threw out the old style of guide last year, which is usually about 75% ads and a phone book listing of attractions and lodging. There's nothing about that style of guide that tells you why you should visit a place. And since MetroWest is not the Cape or Boston, places that people already know about and know what there is to see and do, I felt like we needed to tell that story. So the new guide is itinerary-driven, and it's based on themes and interests such as outdoor rec or arts and culture. It's designed to inspire people and make them say, wow, there is a ton to see and do in MetroWest. And then book a trip to come here. There is minimal advertising, which means that our advertisers actually get a lot more attention than they did in previous guides. And we also capitalized on our strengths as a great central location with economical lodging, making us a perfect home base for what we call hub and spoke tours. Stay here and travel not only within the region, but to other outside places as well for day trips. To that end, we included in the guide 4 seasonal hub and spoke tours, particularly to appeal to visitors wanting longer vacations. If you're interested in being in the new visitor's guide, there is a flyer in your folder with more details on advertising. We took this idea of marketing through itineraries and we ran with it for the rest of our campaigns. We now have itineraries on our website that change monthly, and much of the advertising and PR that we do is based on recommended tours for the region. It gives us an opportunity to highlight our big draws, our public art and cultural districts, historic and unique attractions, our huge number of fantastic breweries, our outdoor recreation, and more. The hope is that by making it both easy and enticing, people will plan to travel here versus anywhere else. A large focus of FY23 strategy was driving users to our new website. This site is the gateway to travel planning in MetroWest, and through it we market events, lodging, attractions, restaurants, shopping, arts and culture, recreation, and our itineraries. Promoting the website promotes travel to MetroWest in general. In FY22, we had 1,654 website users. In FY23, we grew that to 14,171 users for our new site. Thank you. That is a growth of 857%. As of this week, we have further grown our users to 26,142 with 83,802 page views in the last year. This means that we've almost doubled our audience once again in just the last 9 months. The site and the region were marketed through print ads, social media campaigns, banner ads, a search engine marketing campaign, a YouTube campaign, a PR campaign, and our monthly newsletters. We are very pleased with the success of last year's campaigns, not only for the short-term goal of increasing web traffic, but also for the ultimate goal of increasing visitors to MetroWest. We saw, get this, 8,425,656 total domestic trips to MetroWest in FY23. We'll talk about international shortly. That is an increase of 11.5% over the year for a total of 20,989,717 visitor days. More telling, however, is that this represented 4,657,852 unique visitors, an increase of 53%, which indicates that we did have many new visitors to the region, which we like to think is due to our marketing campaigns. The markets we specifically targeted in FY23, namely New York, Hartford, and Providence, grew 5.1%, 3.3%, and 7.5% respectively year over year. One of our newest markets to enter our top 10 list, which you can see up on the screen, is Philadelphia. So we've increased our marketing presence there in the last few months. Based on these top 10 markets, our campaigns over the last year have included both print ads and sponsored content, which is essentially articles that we pay for and therefore we get to control the message of. In Yankee Magazine, Connecticut Magazine, New Hampshire Magazine, Down East, Rhode Island Monthly, Philadelphia Magazine, Hearst's Fairfield County newspapers, Boston Spirit Magazine, the Boston Marathon official program, the New England Patriots and the Boston Celtics souvenir programs, and the Army-Navy game souvenir program, as well as emails to USA Today subscribers in our target markets for a total audience of over 4 million people. You can see an example of our print campaign on the back of your program if you flip that over. We launched this campaign last spring, and we will continue it through the rest of this fiscal year. While every ad has the same theme, from breweries to bakeries, etc., the specific business is highlighted and the words used change for every ad, depending on the season, the market, etc. And of course, while we market the region as a whole, we do like to spread the love amongst our members and feature as many of them as possible throughout the year. Our digital campaigns got tremendous amount of reach this year. A banner advertising campaign we did with Think Argus resulted in 2.76 million impressions. Our social media campaigns included organic and paid posts on our own channels, as well as carousel campaign through Local IQ targeting specific geodemographics. These campaigns led to almost 1.9 million impressions. Paid social posts were geo-targeted to Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Brooklyn. Brooklyn, for whatever reason, is one of our top markets, based on our top feeders. We have just started a new carousel campaign with Local IQ, which you can see here, and I'm excited to see the results. We also hired a social media agency to handle daily posts this year on both Facebook and Instagram, a couple of weekly posts on Twitter as well, which has resulted in an increase in both followers and engagement. Our agency, Short Up Digital, who's here today, has been enormously helpful in organizing our social media influencer and content creator visits for us. We have already had multiple visits in recent months and are targeting 8 to 10 of them this year. Many of you in this room we have reached out to say, would you like somebody to come? So I encourage you to say yes when I call you next time. We also ran YouTube commercials through Local IQ with our 2023 promotional video, which received approximately 209,000 impressions over 4 months. We are just starting a new YouTube campaign, so I wanted to show you our new commercial, and you all are the very first to see it.
We are the heart of Massachusetts, and if you think of what makes it special, I think it's creating memories with your family.
You could come up here and do quite a few things in a single day and then head home, or you could come up here and stay for a long weekend.
Get ready, because there is so much to explore. There is something for all ages, endless opportunity.
And I don't think there's any other place in America which offers quite the experience that you can find here.
What do you think? Thank you. We're really happy with that one. I also want to take just a minute to mention our Super Region campaign that we have been engaged in with our neighboring regions, Discover Central Mass, which is west of us, and Visit North Central Mass, which is northwest of us. Together, we were awarded a $1 million grant through federal COVID recovery money. The Travel and Tourism Season Extension Grant, or TTSE, is intended to market the region during the shoulder season from November through April. We've been doing huge advertising and PR campaigns using those funds in many of the same New England publications I mentioned earlier, plus some additional ones, such as New York Family, Canada Travel, and East Coast Traveler. We've also been able to invest in campaigns we wouldn't normally be able to do, such as OTT and in-flight commercials, a Yankee Magazine created digital visitor's guide for the Super Region, our Hearst Story Studio campaign, and more. The Super Region website is theheartofma.com. You can see examples of some of these efforts here and the tremendous number of impressions we've garnered in just the few months since everything launched last fall. This campaign will run for 2 years, so we are looking forward to the impact of these efforts. We also funded a booth and one-to-one meetings I had with 47 bus tour operators at the American Bus Association trade show through this grant. Those meetings were fantastic, and we have already fielded multiple RFPs and requests for information for group tours coming to Massachusetts based on them. Interestingly, 3 themes consistently emerged from those conversations. One is the enormous number of operators looking for student education tours in the region, particularly focused on history and STEM. The second is the equally large number of operators looking for senior trips for 55 plus. And the third is that the vast majority of operators said that their greatest challenge is finding restaurants capable of handling 1 or more busloads of tourists at a time. To that end, we are putting together some new recommended itineraries for education and seniors tours, as well as creating a group dining guide. If you happen to have a restaurant that you can handle groups, please take a look at the one-sheeter in your folder, which outlines how you can get listed in that new guide. In addition to campaigns targeting domestic visitors, we have invested in attracting international tourists as well. According to a January 2023 study by Future Partners, the U.S. is the #1 most desired travel location in the world. We attended Discover New England's trade show last March, where I had sit-down meetings with 36 international group tour operators to promote MetroWest as an attractive destination for their clientele. Several partnerships were formed, including one with Wolf Tours to create a custom music education tour in MetroWest for middle and high school students. We have already sold that one. Additionally, a relationship with Visit USA the Netherlands resulted in PR coverage in multiple Dutch travel publications. We also participated in several FAM, or familiarization tours, for group tour operators this year, both through Mott and independently. And I will be heading back to Discover New England next month, where I'm already scheduled for 37 individual meetings. The international market is a growing one for us, which Carrie Tripp will talk about shortly, and it can be a very lucrative one. We've just created international microsites on our website, which recently launched with an overview of the region and 4 recommended seasonal itineraries, all translated into German, French, Dutch, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, and Italian will go live later this month. These correspond to our top feeder markets, and in the case of Portuguese and Spanish, to top languages spoken in MetroWest as well. We haven't tackled any of the Asian languages as of yet because those markets still have not rebounded since COVID, though we'll get there eventually. Along with the translated microsites, we are creating mini international visitors guides in the same languages, which will be available to download from our site, but will also be shared at D&E with the tour operators and made available to them to disseminate to their clients and as education for their travel agents to better understand and sell MetroWest to overseas clientele. We will also share them with our hotels in the region for their front desk staff to have on hand when international guests check in. If you have an interest in reaching these markets, please let us know. There are a few very low-cost advertising spaces available in the international guides, which are listed in your folder as well. One of the things Carrie will tell you more about is the D&E Partner Program, which we have just signed on to. This partnership means that D&E will actively market and educate the international travel trade on MetroWest when they go abroad on sales missions, or conduct training sessions for the trade here. For the vast majority of overseas travelers, Boston is not their first visit to the U.S., so when they come, they are often looking for hidden gems, quaint New England towns, and getting off the beaten path. We are uniquely positioned to offer a vacation that is both easily accessible and provides a charming glimpse into New England life. This fits in well with the appeal of MetroWest, particularly in combination with our central location and affordability factor, given that many economies worldwide are dealing with threats of recession. Our average hotel room rate for 2023 was the lowest in the state at $136 a night, which is half of what Greater Boston is and a fraction of what downtown Boston's rate is. Yet our proximity to the city makes us an attractive alternative as a home base, particularly for international travelers who generally plan longer trips than domestic ones. A 2023 Family Travel Association survey showed affordability as a major concern for 59% of respondents, which I believe will work in MetroWest's favor. On top of all of our consumer-focused efforts, another primary campaign for FY23, which we have continued in 24, include the corporate and association meeting planner market, who we targeted through both ads and advertorials in Meetings Today, BizBash, Meetings and Conventions, Convene, and Smart Meetings magazines. We attended the Connect Marketplace trade show in August, where we met with 60 corporate and association meeting planners in one-to-one meetings. Multiple RFPs have resulted from those meetings so far, and we plan to go back again this year. The website has been revamped to include new sections dedicated to meeting and group travel, with ongoing expansion efforts. Resources for both hotel and off-site venue space, lodging, team building, activities, and vendor lists have been included and are continuously being updated. We have over 200,000 square feet of traditional hotel meeting space in the region, plus tens of thousands of square feet of non-traditional space, such as the American Heritage Museum, the Framingham Historic Village Hall, Hopkinton Center for the Arts, and others. Our conversations with meeting planners this year have indicated that they are looking for unusual venues and new locations, while affordability and easy access are also key. MetroWest can meet all of those requirements. So now that you know the specifics of what we've been doing at the Visitors Bureau, I'd like to take a moment to step back a bit and look at the tourism landscape as a whole and the impact this industry has on the state economy. Kate Fox will talk more shortly about tourism at the state level, so I will focus on MetroWest specifically. Tourism is the third largest industry in the state. In MetroWest, that translates to $1,086 million of traveler spend in our region in 2022, which generated over $96 million in state and local taxes. Pardon me. Yet those tax dollars that MetroWest alone generated are almost 10 times the state investment in travel and tourism for the entire state of Massachusetts. In fact, Mass is the 18th most visited state in the U.S., yet ranks 30th in state tourism investment. The half of our funding that comes from the state is allocated through the Tourism Trust Fund in the state's budget. For my legislators that are here today, there's a one-sheeter at the front of your folder that talks about our funding asks for this year. And for everyone else, we would really love for you to make the same asks of your own representatives. We have two requests. The Tourism Trust Fund's formula hasn't been updated since it was developed 10 years ago. Yet everything is more expensive now. Advertising, staff, printing of the guides, etc. We are asking that you please support House Bill 2715 and Senate Bill 1780 to modernize the Tourism Trust Fund by adding 1.5% of the state's collected occupancy excise to the baseline of that fund. This would not increase the occupancy tax for visitors. The second request that we have is regarding the FY25 budget currently being worked on. We would love your support in adding $2 million to the overall Tourism Trust Fund, as well as including specific language in the budget for timing allocation of disbursements. This year, we did not receive our FY24 monies until 6 months into the fiscal year, which makes it very challenging to run an organization. Half of the Visitors Bureau's funding comes from these state dollars. We are then required to match those monies dollar for dollar through our own revenue generation, which accounts for the other half. We do that through our advertising vehicles like our visitors guides, our co-op advertising programs, through sponsorship of the organization, and through membership. So thank you to all of our members in the room, because thanks to you, you help keep the lights on. Honestly, the only thing that keeps me up at night is making the match. One of the initiatives that we are currently working on to help with this funding issue is the formation of a TDMD, or a Tourism Destination Marketing District. A TDMD is a stable source of funding for marketing efforts designed to increase occupancy and room rates for tourism businesses. A small fee is assessed on hotels in the district, which cannot be higher than 2%, and which is passed on to the consumer. The monies raised then go directly back to the district itself to fund whatever initiatives the district has agreed on. For example, Boston's TDMD used some of their funding to secure the 2026 World Cup. Newport used some of their funds to fund the free trolley system in town for tourists. The Cape is currently working on establishing a TDMD, as is Visit North Central Mass, which means if we want to be competitive, we need to develop one too. So hopefully we are next. We are holding an information session on March 26th from noon to 1 p.m. with Civitas, the company that is helping us to form a TDMD in MetroWest. And while this session is primarily for hoteliers, attractions, legislators, and others are welcome to join. Please email me if you would like the Zoom link to attend. If you don't have my email, and if we haven't met yet, I would love to meet you. My business card is out on the desk in front. If we are able to establish a TDMD in our region, it will be a funding game changer, allowing us to greatly expand our current campaigns, which means more visitors and more revenue for your businesses. So I hope you are as excited about our plans and our successes as we are. If you are not currently a member of the Visitors Bureau, I certainly hope you will consider joining. And if you are, I hope you will reach out to talk about how you can get more involved in some of the initiatives that we have discussed today. Thank you so very much for not only your attention this morning, but for your support of us and the work that we do. Thank you. Next up is Kate Fox, our fearless leader. Kate was appointed Executive Director of the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism and the Healy Driscoll Administration in June of 2023. A seasoned tourism professional with 25 years of experience, Kate was previously the Executive Director of Destination Salem, where she oversaw year-round destination marketing efforts. Fox was a member of the City of Salem's Economic Recovery and Revitalization Task Force, established in March 2020 to focus on business and community support during the pandemic. She also served on the Board of Directors for the Salem Chamber of Commerce, the Salem Main Street Steering Committee, and was a commissioner for the Essex National Heritage Commission. She was previously president of the North of Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors and is a North Shore Leads Fellow. Fox lives in Beverly and holds a bachelor's degree in English with a minor in religious studies from William Smith College. Welcome, Kate Fox. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just hit the down arrow to
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Can we have another round of applause for Stacy and her team? Because that's remarkable. Really amazing work is going on in MetroWest, and you're so fortunate to have Stacy at the helm leading the charge. And I am so fortunate to be here this morning. I'm privileged to be the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, and so thrilled to be part of the Healy Driscoll administration. Thank you to Senate President Spilka and Representative Roy and the other elected officials who are here this morning for your support of tourism in Massachusetts. It is strong and it's not going anywhere. So Stacy had heart failure when I sent her my deck because it's really long. Fortunately, a lot of it's been covered already, so I'm going to be able to move pretty quickly through my slides. I want you all to leave today knowing that the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism is going through a period of growth. We're doing a lot of restructuring, a lot of planning, a lot of development, and the momentum is really significant, and we're looking forward to such a strong 2024 into fiscal 25. So as the State Tourism Office, we are a destination marketing organization just like MetroWest. We are statewide, and we promote the entire state of Massachusetts as a destination for leisure and business travelers, both domestic and international. We focus on the domestic, the international. We're ramping up sports, group tour, business travel, and LGBTQ marketing. Our staff was greatly reduced over the past 8-9 years, and we are building it back up, so we're going to be able to focus on more areas of destination marketing, and I'm delighted that we have Sheila Green here today from the Mott team to talk about the Massachusetts 250 marketing efforts. So that's another slide I'm going to be able to go very quickly over. Travel and tourism is big business nationally and statewide. In 2022, travel and tourism generated $1.2 trillion in spending, employed 8 million American workers, and domestic leisure travel contributed $837 billion to the American economy. In Massachusetts, and Representative Roy already went over this, so I can go quickly, but $24.2 billion in spending by 21 million domestic and international travelers. These are 2022 numbers, I know, and Carrie will probably support. International's coming back hard, and so 2023 numbers, which we'll get in 2024, will be great. And again, 131,000 jobs supported statewide by travel and tourism. Those are jobs you can't export. You have to be here to do it. MetroWest, Stacy already talked about these numbers, $3.3 billion in domestic traveler spending, and calendar year 2022 alone, $1.1 billion in domestic travel spending in the region, which supported 8,200 jobs and generated $96.4 million in state and local taxes. Massachusetts is doing really well against the national benchmarks. Lodging room revenue is up 10.4% from $4.8 billion to $4.8 billion from $4.3 billion, and we are trending ahead of the national status. In calendar year 2023, lodging results showed continued growth. Room revenue is up in MetroWest 16%, Massachusetts is up over 10%, and the United States is seeing growth of 5%. So at Mott, we're running domestic marketing programs right now. I'm delighted we have Yankee Magazine in the house because on the right is a campaign we did with Yankee Magazine. We're doing consumer shows with Snowbound and outdoor recreation. It's the first time Mott's done consumer shows in about 10 years. We're also running multimedia advertising campaigns, which include print, digital, television, social media. We have an active PR and communication strategy that includes earned media and familiarization tours, which Stacy mentioned, and the visitma.com website is undergoing some restructuring and updates, but we've already updated the blog posts, the blog and content to include things like our new culinary corner, and we're seeing great growth in traffic for visitors and engagement across the site. Our international market, like MetroWest, we're targeting Canada, UK, Germany, Ireland, and France. We are doing digital marketing promotions, working with our partners at Discover New England, as well as Brand USA. and doing trade shows as well to promote our sports and lighthouse trails. We Aer Lingus Trade Mission. We also just did a Brand USA Trade Mission in Japan, and we will be at the DNE Summit and U.S. Travel's IPW show in May. Under the Mott umbrella is the Massachusetts Film Office, and we have a new executive director, Meg Jarrett. She came on board in December. She has 2 decades of experience in film as a location manager and has hit the ground running. We really want to increase the number of film projects, small and large. The holy grail from an economic standpoint is a series. The big budget films are great, but they come and then they go. A series stays forever. If you're interested in learning more about the Massachusetts film industry and how to be engaged with Massachusetts film, mafilm.org is the website, and I'm happy to connect you with Meg Jarrett, whose email I've shared. And we're super proud of all of our Academy Award winners. We had such an amazing award season for Massachusetts, not only the holdovers in American fiction, but also the GBH documentary about Maripol, which won the Academy Award for Best Documentary. We're so proud of all of our filmmakers. We do grants, we give money away. Everybody likes money. And so we are in the middle of a Destination Development Capital Grant cycle for fiscal '24. We're awarded $2 million to tourism and cultural organizations for capital projects. These are things like HVAC and accessibility projects, and the funding has gone across the state, and we're really excited to see the money put in action. Last week, I got to go out to Northampton and see a new accessibility entrance for the Visitor Center at the Northampton Chamber of Commerce that was done through a grant from Mott. The Regional Tourism Council grants, we're very proud to work with all 16 of our RTCs to do a competitive grant process. I promise you'll get your money sooner than December for fiscal '25. We're gonna, if anybody offers you a state job that starts right at the end of the fiscal year, pause. There were a lot of balls in the air, and they all came right down on me. But we're figuring it out. We're learning as we fly. So we've got the Regional Tourism Council grants, $365,000 and change came to MetroWest this year. And I'm just so excited to see all the amazing ways you're using it here. And also the TTSE grants that Stacy mentioned. And that $1 million grant, there were 6 $1 million grants that went to super regions across the state. And seeing all of the shoulder season, and I hate to say off-season because there's always something to do in Massachusetts, but all of the projects that are being developed is really exciting. Massachusetts 250, Sheila's going to cover this in detail, so I'm just going to say it's so close. Come to the Governor's Conference, which might be the next slide. We're bringing back the Governor's Conference. We haven't had a Governor's Conference on travel and tourism since 2014. It's going to be April 2nd at the Hilton Boston Logan. We are more than half sold out. All of our exhibitor tables are sold out. We're receiving a lot of great enthusiasm for the conference. And the sessions, which we just announced this week, we're going to have sessions on AI and tourism, culinary and agritourism, international tourism update, with Discover New England, lodging trends, sports tourism, the film industry, and working with the media. So please join us at the Hilton Boston Logan on April 2nd. It's going to be a great day. Lieutenant Governor and Governor are going to be our keynotes for breakfast and lunch, and we are going to reveal the new brand of Massachusetts 250. You can use Mott if you are a destination. Use Mott to promote your business and events. VisitMA.com is free. We really want you to work with your regional tourism councils, and we want you to work with Mott. So you can go on the website, scroll down to the bottom, and create a business listing, and we'd love to have your events. If you have a press list, put me on it. If I can't use the information, I'll send it to whoever on staff can. We're currently in the process of hiring 4 new positions for Mott. We're adding a full-time research director, director of marketing, director of communications, and director of special events. So lots of people who need to know what's going on across the state. So make sure you're telling us, because there are 351 communities. Right now there are 11 of us. So the odds are really not in our favor. Tag us on social media so we can share your stories as well. And finally, this is the staff we've got. Our team, we do a lot of earmark management through Mott, so Kara Keefe and Mark Zappola do our earmark management as well as grant management, and the rest of us are working on marketing and promotion of the state. It's our job to bring people in. It's all of your jobs to fight over them once they get here. And you're doing a great job fighting in MetroWest, so congratulations on all your hard work, and I hope I got through that fast enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kate. And Kate and I are going to spend the day together. So she's going to come take a tour of MetroWest, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to make a huge circle in the region and take her to a bunch of the anchor properties and hot spots. So if you see us drive by, wave. So thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate you being here and talking about what the state does. A side note, she mentioned grants. We also re-grant some of the money that we get, and we currently have a grant application open. So if you are looking for free money for advertising, please go on our website. On the footer, there is a link for apply for a grant. Next up, we have Sheila Green, who I am so excited is joining the team. So Sheila Green is the coordinator of the American Revolution 250th anniversary for the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. She comes to the position with a wealth of experience in the tourism and hospitality industry. Her recent experience includes Sail Boston, Boston Harbor City Cruises, and Doors Open Minneapolis, among others. For over 25 years, Sheila has been a relationship builder. She specializes in strategic communications, PR, and marketing. In her career, she has developed customizable approaches to creating communications and change management strategies. Her comprehensive expertise spans strategic communications planning, thought leadership, media relations, crisis PR management, social content development, and project and event management. She has served as a board member for the USS Constitution Museum, Jane Doe Inc., American Cancer Society New England, and as an advisor to the Joe Androzzi Foundation, The Wonderful, and Project STEP. Please help me welcome Sheila Green. Thank you so much.
I won't take your pages, I promise. So do I just push this down to start?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so great to be back in MetroWest. I have to say I spent 25 years raising my family here in Sherburne. So this is home to me, and it's just really great to be back and be on this campus and meet all of you and see all the growth and development that's happening in this community. It's wonderful. So as Kate mentioned and Stacy mentioned, I am the coordinator of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. Our journey to American independence started right here in Massachusetts, and the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism is planning a celebration and coordinating statewide commemorations for this year, next year, and into 2026. We will develop opportunities for statewide engagement around the revolutionary history in all of our communities, as well as the themes of American Revolution and how they relate to today. So we have key components to the Massachusetts 250. As Kate mentioned, we are going to be launching the new MA 250 logo and brand at the Governor's Conference on April 2nd, which we are very excited about. And then from there, we're developing a website, which, similar to visitma.com, you can load your different events that have anything to do with the Revolution and the time of the 1700s leading up to 1776, because I know a lot of the communities here have some wonderful history of that time. We are launching, as I said, we're launching a website. We have grants to support organizations and communities who are planning interpretation and programming. We are thinking about a statewide signature event in 2025 and 2026. And then, as Kate had mentioned before, we have domestic and international marketing to support it all. These are the significant dates that will be happening and have happened. The 250th really started in December 2023 with the Boston Tea Party commemoration. And then in 2025, you can see the key events that will be happening in different cities. But we also know that there are many events that are going to be concurring in different cities across the Commonwealth. And then, of course, in 2026, we have the FIFA World Cup and Sail 250, which is Sail Boston, will be coming into our state in June and July. So it will be a very busy time for us all. This is our special commission that that has been appointed by the governor. This commission is very broad, represents a lot of things and people throughout the state. I'm sorry? Okay, and then the special commission goals are to develop a comprehensive plan for promoting and celebrating the 250th of the Revolution, identifying any opportunity and all opportunities for individuals, municipalities, or other actors across the Commonwealth to celebrate the anniversary and recognition of this particular history and time. We are investigating and promoting underrepresented voices in the American Revolution, including, but not limited to, women, people of color, and the Native population. We are uncovering some amazing untold stories as we learn and visit the state, different areas of the state. There's multiple subcommittees on education, diversity and inclusion, and marketing. So we are busy making sure that everyone is included in this celebration. So to get involved, let me know if you have anything that is involved in the revolution. We want to embrace our independence, and we want to embrace the revolution and how we had such an important part of that to make it America independent. So thank you. Oh, sorry, these are our teams. You had that before.
Thank you so much. I am really excited about what they are doing with the Rev 250, and I encourage all of you in MetroWest to think about how you could get involved. So are you an attraction that would normally fit within that? Can you develop a program that fits with that? I would like to ride the coattails of what the state is doing already to market some of those events. So very happy that you were here and told us about that. So next up we have Michael Bobbitt. Michael J. Bobbitt is a theater director, choreographer, and playwright who has dedicated his professional career to arts leadership. He joined the Mass Cultural Council as executive director in February of 2021. Tough time to join a team. And is the highest ranking cultural official in Massachusetts state government. Upon joining the agency, he was invited to serve on the board of directors for the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. As executive director, Michael has led Mass Cultural Council through the development of its first ever racial equity plan, worked with staff, council members, and the cultural sector to advocate to secure and distribute a historic $60.1 million in state pandemic relief funding, and overseeing the drafting and adoption of the agency's FY24 through FY26 strategic plan. Please help me welcome Michael Bobbitt. All right, just take the down here.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. How's my hair? Great, thank you. A lot of product up there. I'm a new resident of MetroWest, and we have such a great embarrassment of riches here in arts, culture, tourism, and humanity. So I can't wait to do some goat yoga. Very excited. I did join the agency in the height of that pandemic thing, and I had skipped the pandemic training in arts management school, but I'm an expert now, so bring on the next one. I'm ready for you. I also read the chapter on the locusts, which are coming next, so we should be prepared for that. A big thanks to our electeds that are here. I am so excited about the work that President Spilka is doing to showcase diverse voices at the State House with the unveiling of the new bust on Frederick Douglass and the Abigail Adams painting. We'll be working with the State House to get some more art up in there. I'm also really great to see you, Rep. Roy. You said all the things we needed to say, and I'll add one thing when we get there later. And then also Rep. Lewis told me to break a leg too, so we should watch that. We should watch that guy. Yeah. We have great legislators that really love our sector. I'm going to also breeze through this. We are an independent state agency enacted to support the creative and cultural sector. We do it in many ways. Our four basic areas are artists and creative individuals, youth, education, communities, and tribes, and we're scaling up our work with tribes, and then cultural organizations and groups. We did launch our new strategic plan, so if you'll indulge me, I'll let you all watch this really cool, exciting video. What is a strategic plan? It's a guiding document that outlines an organization's vision for the future and its goals and objectives over a period of time. Developed and inspired with tremendous support from our partners and those we strive to serve, Mass Cultural Council, your independent state arts agency, is thrilled to launch its new 3-year strategic plan. We want Massachusetts to be the preeminent place to thrive and experience our historic and diverse creative and cultural sector. To help achieve this distinction, Mass Cultural Council will seek to build cross-sector relationships with leaders of other key industries and agencies about the essential value of creativity and culture. We hope to change hearts and minds about the sector's work in every community, integrate creativity and culture into all aspects of Massachusetts life, and address sector-wide systems issues. And as the state's largest public grant maker supporting arts and culture, we will continue to review and revise our grant making with equity in mind, promoting ease, accessibility, and maximum impact to ensure that the arts are for, by, and about everyone who lives, works, and plays here, especially those who need it most. Together, let's deepen the impact of the arts in helping people to heal and feel a sense of belonging, to expand minds and discover creative solutions to problems, to connect us deeply to each other, to drive our economy, to attract more visitors, to build vibrant, diverse, and exciting communities, and to create a more competitive Commonwealth. We believe that culture and creativity are essential to personal and community health and vibrancy. And that, my friends, is the power of culture. That's the work of Wes Verge. He is extremely reasonable in his cost, so if anyone needs a videographer, let me know. So the main goal of our new strategic plan and our new mission statement is to really focus on a whole of Commonwealth approach to the arts. Arts can help in almost all the things that we have kind of messed up in our world, and so we want to really push everyone to use creativity as a hard skill to start solving the problems that we have in the state. I'm not saying that we make babies, but anybody that was born in the 70s and 80s, you should thank the arts and culture for that. We did, Mass Econ put out a new report, and we did see that arts and culture was one of 2 industries that saw an increase in population. You heard a bunch of numbers, and I'm going to skip through some of these things, so we talked about a lot of this already. This is the list of the grant programs that we have. Next month opens up our festivals and projects grants, and many of you that are doing arts programming can apply for those $2,500 grants. We've done a lot of work recently to support, what is this about? Oh yeah, this is some of the ways that we can all collaborate together. Yeah, good. I did want to talk about a couple of other things. You heard some numbers from Rep. Roy, which is pretty amazing, and then Kate's numbers are different. They're 2 different data sources. Some of Kate's numbers include hotels, and some of our numbers include things that are outside of what Kate sees. But it is a $27.2 billion industry in the state, which is almost 3 times that of transportation and about $5 billion more than construction. So it's big business. Friday, 2 weeks ago, we had a great day for the arts and culture sector because the governor put out her economic development bill, and there were a couple of things in that bill that we're really, really very excited about. One is that the governor will be creating a poet laureate program and an artist in resident program, and we'll be supporting her in that effort. We also, in Kate's grant, the Destination Development Grants, there's some preference given to arts organizations in cultural districts, and also preference given to arts organizations through the Community One-Stop Grant. So we'll be getting information out about that. And then the governor also, in her bill, she wants to refund the cultural facilities funds And then the big thing that I'm excited about is that the governor, by executive order, has created a cultural policy development advisory committee. This is huge, to pull together constituents across the state that have a stake in arts, culture, and humanities and want to see cultural policy develop. We are an industry that does not have a lot of policy supporting us, unlike healthcare and tech care. So we really want to start thinking about how we can build policy to support everything. And there's tons of policy in ways for the healthcare community to work with the arts, for real estate development to work with the arts. We have a lot to mine. One of the other things I want to tell you about, because we'll need you all involved in pushing your arts organization to support us, is that 5 years ago we started beta testing this Arts on Prescription program. This program basically provides healthcare providers with the tools to prescribe arts and culture activities to their patients as a supplement, complement, or alternative to medicine. So you go to your doctor, they diagnose you, and part of that diagnosis may be 5 tickets to see arts and culture. Typically those prescriptions were written for the patient and a guest, or the patient and their whole family, to break down some of those barriers. The patient then takes that prescription to the provider, the arts organization, the CVSs from the arts, and then they get their theater tickets or their museum visit or their pottery class covered by the arts organization. The arts organization was reaching out to us to get the reimbursements for that. We want to scale this. We think this is one of the best ideas since 911 and school lunches and seat belts, right? It's a huge zeitgeist kind of thing. And so we've been talking to managed care providers and payers to do the coverage for this. And we're about to announce our first managed care provider who will also be able to use Medicare and Medicaid to do those reimbursements. So this is huge. We've already gotten 400 arts organizations across the state that want to be part of the network, but this is a major way to deal with our mental health issues, our social isolation issues, and it'll be a revenue stream for arts organizations. So make sure your arts organizations in the community know about this, because this is about to go big and mainstream. We've also heard from school counselors, social workers. We've heard from some of the veteran organizations and the housing authorities. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had a conversation with the Gaming Commission, who wants to use this for gambling addictions. So this idea of arts on prescription is a big, big, big deal. So thank you for your time. We shall see you all soon.
Thank you so much. Did you see him? He almost stole my intros too. Talk about a problem. They're very sticky, aren't they? There you go. There you go. No, I appreciate you coming, and those of you who know me know that arts and culture is very near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've been involved in for years and years and years. And as a Visitors Bureau, it is part of what we market, right? The arts create the things, and then we market them to draw in visitors and tourists. And for my arts organizations in the room, and we have several here, please talk to Michael about how you too could get involved in that prescription. Please, come share your news.
SMU Data Arts just came out with a report about the most vibrant arts states in the country, and Massachusetts ranked 3rd. So congratulations, everyone. We are behind New Jersey. Like, how do we let that happen? And then in the number 1 spot is the name of the state that shall remain nameless. It rhymes with Old York. So we got some work to do.
So talking of things that draw people in and exciting new projects that are going to be happening, I am so excited that Kim Chisholm is here. She is the 26.2 Foundation Executive Director for Development and Institutional Advancement. Kim is a mission-driven development and fundraising leader who has served in the nonprofit sector for 18 years. Her experience includes roles as the Associate Director of the Jimmy Fund at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Managing Director at One Mission, and Regional Managing Director in New England with St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Kim joined the 26.2 Foundation in 2023, with her main focus being the capital campaign for the International Marathon Center. So please help me welcome Kim Chisholm.
Okay, you just hit down. That's it. Okay. I was just thinking to myself, wow, I'm pretty lucky to be among all of you today, and after hearing everybody's remarks, I think I've got something pretty good that is going to help everybody reach a lot of your goals and our goals here in the community. So thank you so much for this opportunity. So for those of you that were just meeting today, the 26.2 Foundation was founded in 1996, and our programs reach from Hopkinton, Massachusetts to Marathon, Greece. And our mission is to honor, celebrate, and inspire the power of the human spirit through the sport of the marathon. So a lot of our programs are educational-based, cultural-based, but our most ambitious project to date, as Stacy mentioned, is the International Marathon Center. So I'm so excited to be here to share this project with you and the positive impact that it's going to have in this region. I'm also going to share that this is beyond a visitor experience because we understand that there's more to a marathon than running 26.2 miles. Oh, I should have switched that slide when I was telling you who we are. So this is a rendering of the outside of the International Marathon Center. These architectural renderings were done by our friends at Gorman Richardson, Scott Richardson and his team, and we do have more of these on our website, but wanted to make sure you saw this. So the IMC will be located in Hopkinton on a 19-acre parcel of land along the Boston Marathon race course. So we're going to be between the starting line and then the 1-mile marker, which is currently celebrated by a 12-foot statue honoring Greek marathon champions Stylianos Kyriakidis and Spiridon Louise. So choosing Hopkinton for the IMC as its location is intentional. So not only, as you all know, is Hopkinton the host of the start of the historic Boston Marathon, but it's also located in the heart of substantial and thriving residential and tourist markets. New England, and particularly Massachusetts, has long been an important, vibrant cultural, arts, and educational corridor all the way from Boston to the Berkshires. So, like I mentioned, we're certainly going to have a dynamic visitor experience, which I'm going to show you briefly, but you'll see that we're planning for lots of other things, including classroom space, a theater, trails, and so much more. So our anchor is education, and our approach is global. So when you see things like classroom space and a theater, imagine programs on civics, history, fitness, nutrition, health and human potential, and more. And imagine speaker series and guest lectures on the history and legacy of democratic ideals and their impact on contemporary life, the correlation between health, wellness, well-being, and running, making sports more accessible and inclusive. We have an opportunity to use the IMC as a platform to tell diverse stories and to lift voices that are not always heard within the sport of the marathon. And think about STEM. We can talk about programs about how STEM integrates with the marathon and technological advances in equipment, for example. And think about trail running. So imagine how many kids have never been exposed to that sport. Well, we can bring them there to the International Marathon Center. We can bring runners from all over the country to talk to the kids, and then we can go take them out on a trail run. And imagine speaker series where we can tell the inspirational stories of all of the charity runners in this area and beyond, and also those stories of run clubs that are vital to a thriving community. The possibilities are really limitless. So keep that in mind as we take a quick look through the visitor experience. So you will, I want to just say these galleries, which you'll see, they were designed and created by Healy Kohler, who are leaders in storytelling and exhibit design, and these are also on our website so you can see more of them. So your journey is going to begin here in the Human Spirit Theater. You'll experience a video that will immerse you in the story of the marathon and the power of the human spirit. So here we're going to acknowledge the profound role that Greece and Greek history have played in the development of not just marathoning, but even democracy itself, and how that influence has come to manifest itself across the globe. You'll then go into ancient Greece, the Battle of Marathon, and ancient and modern Olympics. This will then take you into Boston Marathon Gallery, and then you're going to go into this main gallery here. So these are all interactive exhibits that tell the stories of marathons around the globe. There are currently 3,000 marathons and over 1 million people that run a marathon every single year. I know, right? One of the most dynamic displays is this Hit the Pavement, which you'll see right here. So this will be accessible to all visitors, and you'll be able to time yourself against a world-class athlete. So you could say to yourself, all right, you can say to yourself, I want to know what it's like, and if I can run as fast as Meb Keflezighi. And so you'll be able to pull up Meb's stats and do your 40-yard dash here. But again, this will be accessible to all visitors, which will be really exciting. So each marathon, as you can imagine, has its own special spirit and culture. And so throughout this gallery, you'll encounter the breadth of the sport and how it's become personalized throughout the globe. You'll go into a health and wellness gallery from here, and then a science and technology gallery as well. And then finally, you'll come into this Hall of Excellence. So this is where we're really going to highlight the power of the human spirit, which will link you back to the center's overall theme. So this large media table that you see in the center of the room will allow you to discover those that have had an impact on the sport. So think individuals, teams, volunteers, race directors, community running groups, and more. So now that you've had a good snapshot of the International Marathon Center, the programming and the visitor experience, let's talk about the impact on the region. So as part of our research, we worked with Consulticon on an extensive economic benefit report, and we can demonstrate that the International Marathon Center will have a positive impact on the community and beyond. So it will create new business opportunities in the region, provide direct and indirect economic impact, and it will serve to expand Hopkinton, MetroWest, and Boston's profile as a tourism destination. Right now, we believe that the expected attendance will be 50,000 people per year, and that includes adults, seniors, children, youth groups, members, corporate events, special outings, and more. And that impact goes beyond economic impact. It will play a role in arts and culture, create a platform for diverse educational programs, and spark community pride. All of these benefits enhance MetroWest Boston as a thriving place to visit, work, live, learn, and create. So finally, I just want to leave you with this quote from marathon champion and writer Amby Burfoot. And so you all can read this here, but if you'd like to learn more, or if you would like to be a door opener for this project, we would love to hear from you. Myself and Tim Kilduff, the president of the foundation, are here today, so please reach out, and then you're always welcome to email me. But thank you so much for your time this morning. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I left her things.
Kim left my intros. Thank you, Kim. No, we are so excited about this project. I really think that it will become an anchor of the MetroWest community in terms of travel and tourism. 30,000 runners come for the Boston Marathon every year, and if you know marathoners, you know they are crazy into their sport, right? So even if they don't run the Boston Marathon, if they run at all, they're going to be interested in coming. So we're really excited about this project, and I want it to open now. All right, so one of the greatest speakers we have today is Carrie Tripp from Discover New England. We're expecting a lot of you. With over 20 years of experience in hospitality and tourism, Carrie remains committed to daily learning and growth within the industry. In her latest role, she's continued to collaborate with New England's industry as well as international travel, trade, and media. Previously at Sutherland Weston Marketing Communications, Carrie worked to establish a tourism-focused division. The majority of her career was spent as the executive director of the Greater Bangor Convention and Visitors Bureau. There, she adeptly managed partnerships across Maine and Atlantic Canada, showcasing Greater Bangor, the Maine Highlands, and New England as key trade and industry events. So we are very excited to have Carrie come and talk to you about what it means and how we can attract international visitors to MetroWest. Welcome, Carrie. Yes, all you do is down button.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, pressure is on, and it's between me and the doorway 10 minutes, so I am keeping us on time. So really, one of the first things I actually want to say is I hope you guys realize what a treasure you have in Stacy David as a director for your organization. As spending over 20 years as a CVB director, it is not easy, even though everyone thinks tourism is super easy. All you do is have fun. So I can honestly say that the work that we have seen up here from Stacy is absolutely tremendous. So congratulations to you and your team. And everything we've heard about today, I think, at first I was nervous to be the last person to present today, but I think that it was intentionally done because everything that's been talked about today really brings in how much tourism affects your region and how great tourism is for this region. I'll say one of the coolest things I saw was on Michael's video, the person getting the tattoo. Did anybody else notice the cassette player with the pencil, right? How many people in the room need that explained to them? I thought, oh, that's really cool. And then I went, oh, I'm really old. So, okay, there we go. So before we start talking about international today, who had actually heard of Discover New England? Oh my gosh, I love this room. Okay. So we are a collaborative. I'm going to mix everything with Stacy's because she doesn't need hers anymore. We are a collaborative of all 6 New England states. We are a regional destination marketing organization that works at the behest of our 6 tourism directors. So yes, there is 1/6 of my boss components in the room today with Kate. Thanks. Okay. I'm done now. Bye-bye. I know, right? My director, Michelle, is going to be getting some emails, I'm pretty certain, as soon as we're done. And what we do is we really work at what the state directors want a focus on for the international market. So for us, our focuses really are, yeah, that's who you should care. Our focus is really on German-speaking nations, the UK, and Ireland. And we're very, very specific in those. We have people that work within those countries that help us represent us, New England, abroad. Our project-based countries are Italy, France, Japan, Netherlands, Belgium. Mexico is an emerging market. And the other emerging market that I think we're starting to pay more attention to is India. And that is business travel and more of friends and family and just regular visitation travel. So these are the things that we're looking at on a constant basis. Can anybody tell me what country's missing from that you think we would be talking about? No? Canada. Canada, each of the 6 New England states has amazing programs that they already run in the Canadian provinces that make sense for their regions. So it is something that we don't participate in too much. We don't have campaigns running there. We're not visiting in Canada because the people within the states have really done a tremendous job to remember that they're not only our neighbors. Yes, I live in Maine, Bangor, which was number 10 on the list of places for here, and I promise it wasn't all me just hitting the website. So, although I am coming back in June to do, is anybody from the American Heritage Museum here? I bought my husband a tank ride in June, so I'm so excited. Yay. We don't focus so much on the Canadian market. So all of the statistics I'm going to give you, even though Canada is an international destination, it is not part of the number sets that I'm going to provide for you today. And it's an important kind of thing to know because when you look at the numbers, you may go, well, that's low. What's up with that, right? But it's not. It has some, place not in my numbers though. So who's coming? All those countries that I just talked about. And why is it important that we pay attention to that? Well, number one reason is they spend an average of $4,200 per person per trip when they come into the United States and New England. They are staying for an average of 18 nights, right? May not be all 18 nights here because I'll tell you, they travel, they really travel. So New England is really getting a good share of the folks coming in this direction, and they're staying here, but then they can go on to a New York or a DC or something like that, right? But we are capturing them while they are here, and we think that's really important. The other reason we should care about who's coming is for the hoteliers in the room, this is particularly important, they will book 60 days coming out of COVID. We found 60 days was when they were booking. It's gone back up to 90 days in advance that they're booking, and now we're seeing 120 days come back into play. These people are booking out really far. They are coming regardless of the weather, right? Look at last June and July. It rained almost every stinking weekend. How much business was lost because domestically people said, nah, I'm just not going to go. I'll do it another time. They will come. And that's really important for all of us. Here's some numbers. So another caveat to go along with my numbers. You know, the state has the great opportunity to talk about everybody, which is really important, but I'm really focused in, right? International, and these are not including Mexico ground, so there is some Mexico air in here if people arrive that way, and it is not including any Canada ground or air. So these numbers, you can see we're getting close to coming back onto the 2019 visitation. I'm done talking about 2020 and pandemic, but I still have to report back numbers like this because you have to see how far we've come. For calendar year 2023, we had a total set of visitation of 1,343,900. Here's my caveat to this. That is what we call first intended address, FIA. So this means when people are coming over, they have to fill out their cards. Their first intended address getting off a plane, whether it was in Boston or New York, was New England. So that is direct right here. And that's an important thing, right? Because people may go, they may get off the plane in New York City. They may spend a day, Old York, right? Old York. They may get off the plane in New York and stay there for a day or two, but they're traveling to us. They're coming to Connecticut. They're going to Rhode Island. They're coming up to Massachusetts and beyond. So it's important to know that that is not the only set of visitors that are coming here. That is the ones that we can specifically say, yes, they started their vacation right here. These are great numbers. Ireland has already passed their 2019 visitation. Western Europe is looking to pass their visitation in probably a couple months. I think we'll be there. So they predicted spring of this year. I think it's going to be a little bit closer to the beginning of summer, but that's semantics really at this point. Massachusetts saw a 29% growth in first intended addresses coming from abroad. So that's really important. This, I'm going to step off numbers. This, how many people have worked with receptive operators or know what they are? Okay, there's so many people have heard of Discover New England and 3 that have worked with a receptive operator. A receptive operator is someone who will work with the supplier. Lodging Attractions is a supplier. Receptive operators is the one-stop shop. So they are taking what the suppliers, the lodging industry, the attractions, what you have for rates and packages and opportunities. They'll work with you to sell that to the international tour operator, who will then take that and sell that to the travel agent, who will then sell it to the consumer. Why this is important? How many people in this room still use a travel agent? In Europe, almost everyone does, because it's safe, because their trip is going to be backed and they'll be taken care of if something happens, because they want to be able to know that they have the things at their fingertips in order to make their vacation really great, right? So they work top down. They work with that travel agent who then works with the international tour operator, who then works with the receptive operator, who then comes to the suppliers. There are some OTAs that work within this, but really, truly, the meat and potatoes of the work is done through receptive operators. So if you're a hotel or an attraction and you haven't considered working with receptives, I encourage you to think about working with a receptive, because they can open your base. They can help you create those shoulder visitations. I won't say off season, down season. It's all shoulder visitation if it's not in season. But they can work with you to build that base that will affect the time that you need visitation the most, right? So this is a really important piece, and I think that's the piece. I think this slide right here is the only reason that Stacy asked me to come today, right, to talk about this. I think this is it. So then quickly, a couple of things to talk about to go along with that slide, the trends that we are seeing. One that's not really up here but is super important is sustainability. There is a new program that's going to be announced really soon by some people, so don't say that I said anything today. But it's a Green Key Global, and it's really designed to help hoteliers and attractions work on their sustainability practices. It'll be a low barrier to join into it, and it's going to be really exciting. If you want to learn more about it, Discover New England Summit is having an education day, and you can come just to the education day to learn about those things. Ask me if you have questions. API, is that a term familiar to folks? Yep, no, not really. It's your booking agents online. So receptive operators, a lot of times in the past, people didn't work with them so much because they needed a static rate. They needed something that they could say today would be value, would be still in place 12 and 15 months in front of us. That's no longer the case. You want to mix. You want to have a static rate, and you want to work on the API, which is your dynamic booking system. It's what Travelocity, Expedia, it's what all those folks use. So the receptives are now doing that to make it an easier, low barrier opportunity. Fly drives are becoming more complex. People want to experience more, and they want to experience like a local. Everything you guys are talking about today, all these opportunities, all these things happening, number one, your community needs to love it. And what I'm seeing since I've been in the room and talking with people, that people love this community. People love MetroWest in this area and what's available. So if your community loves it, your visitor is going to love it, right? So always remember that. If you love it, don't overthink it. They're going to love it too, because they want to travel like a local. Sports is super important, and I think that the presentation we just had is really engaging with that, because that is something people really love, feel, and want to experience for themselves, and interactive is amazing. Going long, so I gotta move. How to be engaged. Let's go back to this one. So Discover New England does a whole bunch of wonderful things. We have webinars and trainings and all these opportunities in front of you. But what I'm going to say is some of the things that we do the best is represent our regions, represent our partners, which Stacy, thank you for becoming a partner with us. Here's the Cliff Notes. Trade operations for 2023, 701 trainings, 163 calls, meaning walking in the door and talking with people, 13 shows, 18 newsletters. For media, we did 177 pitches, 251 articles, 7 million estimated media value, 687 reach, and 12 familiarization tours. Our media looks different than everybody else's media because we are targeting travel agents, tour operators. We're not looking at the consumer very specifically. We're looking at the B2B. So if you take those numbers and look at it from a B2B, it's tremendous what we've been able to do over the years. The other thing I'm going to say is super important, work with Stacy. If you're working with receptive operators and she doesn't know that you're working with receptive operators for international, she cannot adequately represent you when she does her appointments at Summit in just a couple of weeks. She has 37 appointments, she says. I'll tell you folks, 38 is the max. So she's in there, she's got it, right? She needs to know from her partners who she can adequately represent, who she can talk about working with receptives. The very first question a tour operator is going to ask when they sit down with her is, do you have properties working with receptive operators? She needs that answer. The other thing that I'll say about this region is location, location, location. MetroWest is really, I know we had a comment earlier about the T and going into Boston, and we all know about it for other reasons. But when you think of an international traveler, they are not afraid of jumping on public transportation. They are not afraid of getting on a train or a bus. You have a value in the rates that are offered. here in this region. You have a way for them to get to not only things in this region to experience, see, and do, but also to go into a major city, experience, see, and do. They can go to the Red Sox. I bet you can get to Foxborough. Yeah. I bet that, I mean, you think about it, right? You really have a lot of great opportunities to get people around the region or around the state very, very well. And I think that it's important to think like the visitor, because when we think like ourselves living in a community, sometimes we forget how cool our community is and how many great things that we can do. And work with receptives. So I'll say this, I'll leave it at this with Stacy. If you have questions about receptive operators, how to work with them, why it's important, what you need to do to get engaged, I would love to have a conversation with you. I am here representing all of you. Like I said, the states fund us. They are our mechanism. So by default, I am here and I am proud to represent all 6 New England states. And I am here to help anyone step into this and really start figuring it out. We need more inventory, we need more properties, because there is a bigger demand to come to New England than what we're able to actually offer. So I'll leave it with that as a thought-provoking thing for the day. Thank you.
Appreciate it. So now you see why we're excited about international travelers, right? In your packet, one of the last couple of sheets that are in there, there is a list of receptive operators that Carrie knows for a fact work well with New England properties. So take a look at that if you are interested in working with receptives or getting more information. There's also a card in there with a QR code to learn more about Discover New England. So we see that as really a great emerging area for us, is to get international visitors in. And we're already starting to think about things like how we can take a lot of the traffic that will come in from the 2026 World Cup games, which will be in Foxborough, which is just outside our region. But our Franklin hotels are the closest hotels to Foxborough. So we are looking on how we can sort of take some of that traffic and drive it more into MetroWest. So thank you so much for all of our speakers. We do have 1 or 2 little points of business because this is our official annual meeting. So I am going to call up Steve Levinsky, our chair of the board for the MetroWest Boston Visitors Bureau, who has a long and glorious history with the organization, and we very much appreciate his leadership. He has a couple of things to do with you. Yeah, here we go.
Thank you. First off, compliment each of you on your bladder management. Very impressive, I must say. I will not stand in the way of you in that. Two very brief but important things to do. First off, I'd like to call Peter Chisholm. Peter, where are you? Please join me up here. Stacy, you as well. Peter is a founding board member of the MetroWest Visitors Bureau and has served very long with the board, both as an active board member and as an emeritus. And we want to take a minute right here to thank Peter for his long, great service. Peter has helped us with government relations, and he has eyes and ears everywhere. So, Peter, thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
And lastly and quickly, I will now call the annual meeting to order. I will look for a motion to accept the officers and directors, and we are going to be welcoming David Laurent, Corey Shea, and Aziz Tilavov to join us in the board meeting. So do I hear a motion to approve? I do. Thank you. Do I have a second? I hear a second. Great. All in favor, aye. All right. Opposed? Abstentions? Great. We have a vote. Now I'll take a last motion to adjourn the annual meeting. Do we have a motion? Thank you, Beth. Do we have a second? All right. All in favor, aye. Thank you very much, and stay fired up about MetroWest.